Hello and welcome. Today I will be doing strategy on the game Axis and Allies 1941. I've already uploaded a video about strategy on this game, except that was a lengthy 30 minutes, and I'd like to shorten that down a bit, as well as I will be adding a few new things, new strategies that I neglected to mention in the last video. So, without further ado, I will go ahead and start with Russia. So, of course, Russia only starts off with 7 IPCs, the lowest of them all, like I said in the previous video. A few things, they've got not very good units, I guess you could say. They've only got 3 powerful units, and the rest are all infantry. And one thing with Russia's kind of on a defensive position when they start the game. So the most important unit for Russia would probably be infantry right here. Let's bring that all in. So infantry, of course, just because they can soak up a lot of hits and you can succeed with them. As well as they have 2 factories. They've got a sub. I don't really have any good strategy for the sub. It's just kind of a protector. Probably go protect the British fleet if they're not destroyed, which is what I'd usually do with them. And yeah. And let me think if there's anything else with Russia. I don't think there is anything else with Russia. So next we have Germany. Germany has 12 IPCs like in the previous video. They've got a little fleet, but spread out a little too much. But they are on the attacking position for Russia, which is a good thing. They've got a lot of powerful units, but they only have 1 factory, of course. So yeah. But I'd say most important unit for Russia would probably be a tank, just because if Russia's focusing on infantry, you want to get units, excuse me, that would kill off the infantry, so you can eventually take over Russia. And one thing with Germany, if Russia comes in, and if they get into Eastern Europe, which is right here, I'm going to go ahead and move that just real quick. Eastern Europe, probably Germany would want to focus on infantry buying then, for protecting, or even if they lose like 3 or 4 territories, they might want to start focusing on buying infantry then. Moving on to the UK. They've got a fleet in the Atlantic as well as the Pacific. They're kind of spread out a bit too much. But one thing with UK is that I'd say their most important unit is the fighter. Right here. They've got a lot of land to cover in Africa and Asia and also Oceania, as well as Europe. So the fighter moves 4 spaces, easily can go between territories on a turn or to attack. So that is their most important unit. They've got 3 factories as well. Or not as well. They've got 3 factories. 1 in the UK, of course, 1 in India and Australia. I went over that before. So I guess that's about it for the UK. And then Japan. So Japan, they've got a quite good fleet, but then only 9 IPCs. Probably most important unit for Japan is a transport, because they have 1 factory, and if they're not sending any troops to gain more IPCs, then they're not going to do too well, because they're probably going to get kicked off the mainland eventually throughout the game. One thing I suggest for Japan is come over and take over Oceania. Excuse me, I cannot pronounce that. But get those IPCs from there is what I'd suggest you do. and yet they don't have many other many land units. But also one thing I'd say, probably buy fighters with Japan, so you can take out like the American fleet. So fighters and transports, I'd say there's 2 important units for them for that. Moving on to the U.S. Okay, so U.S., both sides of the map, they have to focus both on Germany and Japan throughout the game. Otherwise, things won't turn up so good for the Allies. They start off with 15 IPCs. They've got a fleet, a pretty good fleet in the Pacific, not so good in the Atlantic. Yeah, probably most important unit, or one thing I'd like to mention for units. So either invest in your fleet or invest in your aircraft. Rarely ever invest in land troops unless you're either going for Europe directly or going directly for probably Japan or one of their coastal territories. Otherwise, I'd say get a good navy on this side, take out their navy. Russia and Britain come in as well and help out there. And probably more aircraft on this side, seeing how Germany does not have a very matchable fleet, because they've got a lot weaker fleet than Japan. So probably more planes for Germany, focusing on there for America. So I guess that's about it. This is a lot shorter. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I will see you next time.